That was official.
Oh yeah.
We don't have this much presence in our podcast. We got somebody holding cue cards back here with 5-minute warnings just in case we run over. This is a little too professional for us, so we're going to try to do our best to keep up with the Joneses over here.
Absolutely.
It's the Between Two Wrenches podcast. We are live from Milwaukee Pipeline. Officially, it is the day, but we arrived early. I'm not sure if they told anybody that they invited Wisconsin boys to come down, and then they said, "Look, there's an open bar here tonight," and we're like.
We've been
You
training
ain't seen
our
nothing
entire
yet.
life for this.
That's actually, we had a pre-run last night with Jason here from Milwaukee Tool, so we already established the things that we can and cannot talk about. Feel pretty good about that. Jason, how you doing?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Yeah.
I'm excited for the next 30 minutes.
No, and we've talked about just off in our other podcasts that we do back at home, how Milwaukee Tool has really found themselves in a strong place in the automotive industry, and I think Phil can speak to that more, just to see it where it was and kind of where it's gone to.
Well, one thing that really kind of hit home this morning when we were kind of getting the rundown from everybody, as you know, the brand as a whole, is that everybody's just super passionate, but the word disruptive kept coming up.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's kind of an edgier word anyways. So as soon as they said that, I was like, oh, I can get on board with this. And honestly, like, there's no better way to describe like all of the innovations that we've seen. Not only, I mean, yeah, like growing up, I had a Sawzall in my dad's, toolbox.
Sure.
And like it was, he was.
Is that why your finger's all wonky? I don't know. Hold that up for the camera. That was not a Sawzall incident, clearly.
But general contracting was like just where I always thought the brand. And then a few years back, I was actually out wandering around checking out the new 6-inch grinder. When they came out with a cordless angle grinder, well, in the automotive world, and we have a custom fab shop, so the angle grinder is like our right hand. And so when we were putting an order in, and we were like, oh, we need a bunch of corded angle grinders, and they're like, well, just try these. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a tough move to make. Like, especially
Absolutely.
like when like that grinder's in your hand day in and day out, and like, okay, I'm going to switch to cordless, especially 7-8 years ago when the performance and battery capacity wasn't necessarily there. Now it's everyone's kind of go-to tool. Like, no one has to mess with the cord really at all. So.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, and it all has to do with the technology and innovations that all the different departments are putting into and working together. But like, I guess give us a little bit of a lowdown on you.
Sure, yeah.
And kind of how you got into Milwaukee, and kind of what drives you.
Yeah, so I come from like a really small farm town in southeast Nebraska. Grew up doing farm work. All of my uncles on my mom's side are mechanics or have some mechanical ability, and my dad drove a truck over the road for 35 years. So on the weekends, I was running a grease gun, changing tires on a truck, all that kind of stuff. So it was a spot I felt comfortable. And then, like, getting out of high school, I had no idea what the heck I wanted to do. I was a little rowdy at times.
What else is there to do in
Keep it PG. We got to keep it PG.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that tonight.
A path that straight to college just wasn't really what I wanted to do. So I joined the military actually right out of high school, did that for 5 years, and then kind of realized that lifespan was a little bit shorter than where I wanted to go long term, and went to school, got out of school in like 2010, 2011, so the job market wasn't really that great. And ironically, at the career fair, just stumbled onto a Milwaukee booth. Knew him from like your dad's Sawzall in the metal case from when you were a kid. And I'm like, okay, know these guys. Started talking to them, and the ball just started rolling. Did a couple years in sales out on the East Coast.
Okay.
And then I've been on the product side for over 10 years now. And I've been working on lighting the entire time, which is really cool, because like now we've turned this into like a full portfolio of solutions. Like by the end of this year, we'll have 60 different lighting products in the market. So you look at like other competitors in the space, like they'll make a handful of flashlights or handful of task lights. We're looking at it beginning to end for every trade that you guys saw this morning. Really
all of it.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
So
not the obligatory, like, oh, I guess we should probably have a light. Like when you guys have put your sights on something, it's like, well, we're going to have the light to have.
Yeah, it's
Right.
the only light
Yeah.
that matters.
Yeah.
This is the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the cool part has been like, I know you guys kind of briefly mentioned like, hey, you didn't really see like automotive as a core focus for the brand. But from a lighting standpoint, it was some of the first products we came out with, like that underhood light that we were talking about last night.
Yeah, I love that.
Like we launched our first version of that in like 2017,
Yeah.
2016. So those things have been around for a while. And like, hey, we've added a lot of commercial efforts around trying to drive the brand in that space over the last 10 or 15 years. And it, like with what we've done with fuel technology, M18 Forge, like it's just the beginning. And you guys heard it kind of all morning, like we're just getting started. And that it's not a slogan that doesn't have a meaning behind it. Like it's core to how we look, how we approach everything at a user level.
And I think you could feel that we're just getting started. It wasn't just the tagline that was on the board in front of them. I mean, there was passion behind. We're just getting started. We were already dominant, but we're just getting started, and I think that's proven. Even brought toys with to prove the fact that they're just getting started. What do we got? What do we got for show and tell today?
We've got a handful. We're launching like 6 products in the back half of this year, so we've got a ton of stuff. But I brought a few things that kind of fit your guys' world a little bit better. So, you want to hand me a couple of those smaller ones up front?
Yeah. All right.
So this one is our rechargeable low-profile floodlight. So this is one that, especially in your guys' space, you see a lot of this stuff that's out there that a lot of smaller rechargeable lights that you can kind of put wherever you want. And we have the ability to do that with this product. It's got the magnets in the base, articulation along with it. But you don't have to mess around with having a drawer in your toolbox full of alkaline batteries. You just have a USB cord sitting there and you plug it in when you're not using it. So a really cool, like compact solution that allows you to get into some tight spots. And that one will be, we're actually going to start shipping that here in the next few weeks. And that was the cool
It's
part.
the display model.
Just like, because there's a lot of stuff that's out there that people will throw like larger scale batteries. This actually has a pouch cell in it. It's very similar to what you saw on like M18.
Yeah.
We're leveraging a lot of that technology in individual products as well.
Yeah, that's super cool. I also know that these might get lost underneath a car sometime.
Yeah.
What? This sounds like you're speaking from experience.
We just had that conversation.
Where did
We
that
actually
light
just had
go?
a
Has anybody
customer.
seen the light?
They had come back and brought it to us. It wasn't one of these.
That was
but
nice. We know it'd be cool is if they get home and they park their car in the garage and turn the lights
What's-
off and it just glows
what's
underneath. They're
this
like, what did you
light
get?
underneath?
I didn't ask for this
Yeah.
kind of upgrade, sir.
No, but that's cool.
That's fancy.
Yeah, definitely a
look at
problem we need to take a look at addressing for sure.
A little tracker on
beeper.
it. Yeah.
Right.
something, yeah.
Yeah. Then what do we got here?
Yeah, so this is our smallest floodlight on M18. So
Cool.
you look at the floodlights that we have, like we've really been chasing a lot of performance. The feedback we've gotten is like, hey, the performance is great. Where we really need some help is getting the size down. Just so, like whether it needs to go on a job site in someone's tool pouch or a tool bag, for you guys in a toolbox.
Yeah.
So we've taken the size considerably out of the product. But maintaining the performance. So this is like 1,000 lumens. So not to get too nerded out, but our core M18,
Nerd away. It's okay.
M18 floodlight that we've had out for 10 years, that thing puts out 1,500 lumens.
Yep.
So this thing puts out 1,000 at an eighth of the size. So we did that as well as just enhancing the capability of the product. So we've got USB and USB-C integrated into the product, so faster charge rate, all that stuff comes along for the ride with this one. This is one that'll begin shipping in October of this year, and at a really affordable price point. This is going to be $79.
Oh,
so,
that's great. Yeah, well, and it, like I said, especially for the technicians, kind of cleans up their workspace. Some of the lights definitely feel like they're bigger than they just need to be.
Yeah, and like the days of the old school like incandescent drop light are obviously gone, right?
Yeah.
And we're just trying to really make sure we lean on like power density, so as much performance that we can get out of a small package, and making sure the feature set's there to make it easy to use in the most common applications.
Yeah, cool.
Also harder to stick in your pocket if you're
Also
trying
true, yeah. These all have trackers in them, so we'll come find you.
These ones have the trackers on them. They know where to find us. Well, we'll be at the same place tonight.
Fair,
doing the same thing we were doing last night.
That's right.
Bring some of the big boys over
Yeah,
here.
so
Is this the one that you can hang, a small child can hang off of?
Not that we would ever do that. That was merely a suggestion.
Yeah, this is the one. So
This is the one.
this is, I don't know if you guys have seen our M12 underbody light that we launched a few years ago. Runs on M12, designed to be stuck underneath a car when it's up on a lift. Really focused on, like you walk in a mechanic shop, watch them work for a little bit. Most common, pin light in their mouth or trying to prop a flashlight up to light up what they're working on just because all the light's blocked overhead. So we took that and we're like, okay, there's a core problem here that we need to solve. And we took a stab at that with the M12, which has been great in the automotive industry. But as we continue to get feedback, it's like, hey, these are great, but it'd be awesome if you could extend the articulation of the light head and all that. What comes with that from a design standpoint is you need more magnets to hold this thing on. At full extension, this is like 46 inches, so you can stick this on the arm of the lift and virtually stretch it almost all the way across the vehicle. Maybe not all the stuff you guys work on. Won't go across a FedEx truck by any means. But,
he knows.
But yeah, like the magnet strength on this, especially once you get into like undercoatings, rust buildup on a frame, this thing will, on like, I think it's like 3/8 steel or 3/8 or ½ inch steel, it'll suspend 200 pounds off of it. But what we also did,
It's heavy too.
yeah, like it's not a light tool, but when you have 200 pounds of holding force,
Right.
trying to rip that off isn't the easiest thing in the world. So we just built a lever into this with a mechanical advantage. So with a huge amount of holding force, it takes like 25 pounds of pressure to just pop this thing off and it's released. So, and then this entire arm extends out and articulates in any direction that you really want.
It's like a dentist's light.
Exactly.
Multi-purpose tool.
Right.
We could open a dentistry inside of the shop.
Wow.
We've
was
done
a
some
time.
frontier medicine before, but this is a little bit. We have the tools for it now.
How are those people doing today?
They're fine.
Oh, good.
They're fine.
Glad to hear it.
Yeah.
Their smile looks a little bit different.
Yeah. They eat a lot through straws, which is, I hear it's good for the diet. But I think what we've noticed now, before we get to this one, is like it's those little things, the little attention to detail things that it feels like not just in lighting, but in every Milwaukee tool, like it has gone through thoroughly. That magnet's gonna be real tough to pull off a hoist. What's the solution there? So it always seems like the innovation comes with having those conversations, in your teams and being like, how can we solve this problem? Oh, thanks. That's like walking into pipeline kind of lights in my eyes today. People were clapping. That's neat. I need one of those.
I'm just trying to be a disruptor also.
Aha.
Nailed it.
Yeah, tell us about this.
Yeah. So this is the reason I brought this one. Traditionally, I probably wouldn't bring this in for an automotive application, but it goes back to the conversation we were having about last night of like having that tool set in your car and like whether it's an off-road vehicle or whatever. In those situations, like, hey, you may be on a trail,
100%.
flip a rock crawler or whatever, and at night, like that's a lot of stuff to take on. So something like this, this is our M18 Rover triple panel floodlight. So this puts out roughly 4,500 lumens. With a 5.0 pack, you're gonna get like 3 hours of runtime. You step up to that 12.0 pack, you're looking at roughly 7 hours. So if you're having to do an all-night kind of operation, you have the ability to do it.
Camped out on a trail, fixing
and
a
it
repair.
doesn't take up a ton of space. So like it can fit whether you got a set of pack out bolted down in the back or whatever. This fits in easier and delivers a ton of light.
Well, there's the whole overlanding space, right? So there's our niche is obviously off-road, but you see a lot of growth in this overlanding, and basically it's just being self-sustaining, having everything in your vehicle to do repairs, but then also like set up camp. Like I like the dual purpose because in that space, a lot of people are like, oh, here's my camp light,
Right.
but it's like, why can't it be the same one
Sure.
that you've been using and even like the pack outs. You see a lot of pack outs starting to kind of come more into that space as they're kitting out the back of their Jeep or the Bronco or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that there's a lot of opportunities for that in that space as well. But I like the kind of the floodlight or the workspace.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the kind of the coolest parts about lights. Like everybody uses them.
Yeah.
And hey, we're going to design them to work in like the professional applications.
Right.
But there's also a ton of value in taking these from your shop to your house for a barbecue or whatever else. There's a ton of uses around them.
Well, it's easier to sell that to the significant other too. Like think of all the opportunities, honey.
You've always wanted that path in the back through the woods lit up nice, so you didn't get scared when the dogs ran down there. Look, solution.
I need one, but I need it for work, but I can also bring it home.
Right.
So it's an easier purchase.
I think we could use them as lighting for our podcast studio. I feel like we could expense that out.
Oh, I see how you're doing this.
You see,
Yeah.
see what I did there? You can catch it live.
Really working
then-
that one. Yeah.
New
I
lighting
love that
solutions.
idea.
Yeah.
Let's bring it to the board.
We'll ask them. They're wearing red today.
Yeah, right? No kidding.
Speaking of that, is there like casual Fridays where you guys can wear like anything you want?
We can wear whatever we want all the time.
I don't believe that's true for one
Nope.
second.
Nobody believes it when they come into our office. They're
Okay.
like, how do you get everybody to wear like Milwaukee branded stuff? And it like everybody just does it. Like nobody mandates it. Nobody.
It is wild.
Nobody
Yeah.
forces you to do it. Sure, when we have customers come in, like we want to be logoed up and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
but it just organically happens. And I think it really shows the commitment to the brand of the employees that we have. Like when we talk about the success of the organization, and all the executive team probably brought it up this morning, it's people and culture. And if
Yeah.
you don't have those things, the whole thing isn't going to work. And I give a ton of credit to the leadership team here that they've established that. And I've been in this organization for over 10 years, and it's nothing new. It's the same thing we've been doing for over a decade. So it's been a blast.
Well, just when we were fortunate enough to be able to take the tour yesterday and to see like just how on brand the whole building is. Like everybody was, and you
It's
could
loud
tell
and
it
proud.
was, loud and proud, 100%. And I think it's cool to see a company that takes a ton of pride in their city, in their state, in their country, and like the team behind it, definitely that's showing through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helped me put together a want list of things. I'm like, that's a nice pullover. I like that button up. Okay. You should put little QR codes on everybody's stuff when you have tourists come through and they can just scan it like, add to cart, add to cart. I'm just working marketing here for you guys. You're here to have a whole cart full of Milwaukee stuff. No, very cool. And the pipeline event, I think it's really cool to see the enthusiasm. Obviously, you have a lot of people that come out here for this event, and it's invite only. But the enthusiasm, is legit. Like, the 100 people, 200 people that were waiting for us,
Yeah.
like we just came off the bus and won the championship. That was just a cool moment, I think, to see that the enthusiasm behind the brand, rings through not just in this event, but as soon as we pack up and leave after we drink your city out of beer tonight. Tomorrow when you guys come to work, reluctantly, there's still going to be that same, energy, behind what you guys are doing.
And to be honest, I think it's very similar to what you guys do. You guys, like that, this entire team of presenters have spent years working on this stuff. Mm-hmm. And just like when you guys take a vehicle to SEMA or a show, like you guys are pumped for that.
Oh yeah.
And that entire team is as well. Like they've put a lot of, same as you guys, right? Blood, sweat, and tears. They've worked with engineers. They've worked with the customer, the user, on defining what this thing needs to be, same as you guys do for somebody that comes in for a build. So you're working through all that, and then the thing starts to come together and have a life, and like, okay, now we're getting excited about it, and this is our unveiling. And it's so much, it's a lot of stress building up to it. And I
Christmas.
told my team, like, hey, you guys have years in this thing, like have fun.
Right.
Like, this should be a fun experience, and it always is, like, afterwards, but all the prep, all the work, all the dry runs and things that the team puts into it. But it takes a couple times of these to really enjoy it.
Well, yeah.
At least one, right?
Yeah.
And when you start to hear some of the content you guys create and put out,
Right. When
And,
you
like-
when you can like have that higher lens and like look at it
Yeah.
from above and be like, oh man, or I remember seeing that, or even just being able to relate, because all the content that's generated here is extremely relatable for everybody, because that's the type of people that you've brought in to be able to kind of help evangelize the word.
Yeah,
But-
and your guys' content flows through our office like crazy. Everybody's content does, because like I said, everybody puts so much time into it.
Right.
That's their reward on the whole thing of seeing like, hey, we're getting awesome reviews on this. Like, look at this content piece. Like, we're probably some of the biggest viewers of a lot of the content that's out there in the space, just because it's so rewarding for our entire
Right.
team.
Yeah. And it makes us feel good when we can say, Milwaukee Tool is stalking us on Instagram. We're like, I got you. I see where you're looking. I got you over here.
Yeah.
It's cool. And I think it's a cool way to bring, the people that are putting their hands on those tools back at their shops or on the road as general contractors or plumbers, to bring them in here and like, they feel like they're part of the family.
Sure.
It's like, because they are, because that's the end user. That's the person that's, has a suggestion, says that's not going to come off of a lift. How about a little thing there? So there's a real community that feel here at Pipeline.
Yeah, absolutely. And if we didn't have that, like, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
No, I think that's true. Because I walked through there and I didn't see one person that was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, we got some new stuff. Like, they're like, oh, can you believe this? I watched the guys, the chainsaw, showing the difference between the M8 battery, the new M8 battery, and the XC one. But like, just number one, that blew my mind. Like, I can't believe we're cutting wood with batteries now. Like,
We live in the future.
yeah,
pretty
this
cool.
is the future. But everybody everybody's geeking out. I am too.
Yeah,
You can't-
everybody's
how do you not?
enthusiastic. I mean, it's
Right.
like walking through a store that they hired all the employees that are real enthusiastic on making commission.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, can I help you with a sprayer? I'm like, I don't need one, but I'm going to listen to your story, sir.
Yeah, learning about fans and
Yeah.
the new speakers with the audio link where you can.
Oh, did they have them all hooked up together?
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty sweet.
because you can link up to 200. I'm like, we'll bring the Bronco on
Right,
the way
yeah,
out of town.
we need
We'll
to
just
see that.
swing on by. You just load it on up, and we'll be good to go.
For sure. You're looking at your watch.
I'm not. I have no reason to look at my watch. We have staff. We have like a whole team.
Oh, look at that.
back
They got
here.
signs,
We got
too.
2 minutes left.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Yeah.
Cue
This is
cards
great.
and everything. This is a little too professional for us. We're going to have to go muddy this up for the next one. But no, excited to get through the rest of Pipeline here in Milwaukee. Jason, thank you for the time. Glad we got to catch up and
Yeah.
do our pre-run was last night at the bar where it was open.
What my only kind of closing question? You said it was a small town in southeast Nebraska.
Yeah.
What's the name of the town?
Fall City, Nebraska.
All right, we'll just shout out to the hometown.
Paul City,
I
Nebraska.
don't know where it is.
Where
Is
you
it
at?
anywhere near Red Cloud? Do you know Red Cloud? Red Cloud? No.
No.
All right. It's
Pretty much the far
southeast.
southeast corner of Nebraska.
All right. Perfect.
So
Cool.
We've probably driven through it.
Yeah, I know. Well, that was the thought. I feel like we did a
if
couple
you've
of
driven
years
down
ago.
I-29, there's a sign for Fall City. That's
think-
the
I think we
only thing.
blinked.
Yeah.
And then there was a cornfield.
Yeah.
And we
Right.
blinked again, and we're still in a
Still,
cornfield.
yeah.
I get it. Wisconsin, Nebraska, we just have more hills.
Yep.
It's just a straight shot. Awesome. Well, thank you, man, for the time.
Yeah,
we
thank you
appreciate it.
guys.
Enjoy the
Appreciate
rest
it.
of
Hope
Pipeline.
you guys enjoy the rest of the day.
We will.
We'll find a way. Where there's a will and a red T-shirt, there's a way. Between Two Wrenches podcast.